interactive map. You can check out race leaders and how they're progressing around the course, or you can track by your favorite athlete's bib number or last name, see how they're making their way around, where they are on the course, and share them along. So we encourage you to do that as well as we bring you the action live.
There you go. All great comments as usual, and we're watching a little bit more bounce up and down there, I think, from our race leader, but still racing quite well. Looking at bib number 52 from Spain, one of our local athletes here, or I'll say one of our athletes that races for the country of Spain. We see her going. She's looking to me like, I don't know, not a lot has changed. She definitely looks to be powerful, having a bit, I don't know, of a strategy talk right now for herself. Is what does it feel like to be up front? Is it harder to be alone? I think for the most part, Didi, you've got to say, if you've got the lead, you want to keep the lead. Am I right?
Well, yeah, I think the strategy is to get to the front of the race and not let anybody pass you.
Dave Downey, hashtag. Brilliant coach advice there, sage advice.
Go to the front, stay there.
Don't let him pass you. So, but what about just the likes of, I mean, what about just riding alone? How much of a toll does it take to be out there and shoulder the burden of setting the pace? Is it ever advantageous to have someone just roll up and say, okay, now I've got company? I guess you kind of have to relinquish the lead for that to happen, but would there be any advantage there?
I think there could be some advantage. Certainly, again, we talked about just the ability when we saw that either age group male or that slower professional male go by Nina Darren. It sort of re-engages your focus a little bit. I think it wakes you up a little bit. Just that little bit of interaction. It really does depend on how your day is going. If she's having a great day out there and is in a happy place and feeling good, and another athlete comes up on you, it may not be as positive because you're thinking, oh gosh, I thought I was doing pretty well, and now I'm getting caught. If you're having a tough day out there, you may not want to have to keep pace. If another athlete comes by you, in a strong manner, you don't want to go out of what is sort of a struggle for you. But again, to be out in the front, she's got that power meter. She's probably glancing down at it. She knows where she's at. She knows how she's feeling. She's keeping, an eye on things, monitoring her breathing, staying on her nutrition, checking in with her cadence, checking in with her power, trying to hold that aerodynamic form. So I think she's got enough on her mind that this early in the race, she's perfectly happy to be out there all by herself setting the pace.
That tells the story then. Thank you very much. As we look now and we kind of start to get a good peek at all the aerodynamic accessories she has on her bike, an aero bottle that goes on that seat tube. She's got that storage container out the back of her seat tube, and of course the massive aero cover over her rear bottle. But all of that, those extra fairings, those extra bits of side surface area, they all help, don't they, Didi, just to get the bike down the road?
Yeah, certainly. Aerodynamically, a lot of athletes will spend time in a wind tunnel telling them for their body type, for their frame type, where strategically to place those bottles, where they're getting the most aerodynamic benefit or the least amount of aerodynamic drag from those accessories, which you've got to carry along with her. She's also got that little box on her top tube there where she's got some storage, some nutrition right in there. Some gel packets or chews or bars or whatnot, just another place to tuck in anything that you might need over the course of the bike.
So now that we're looking very close, and you can see Eneko really dropping the head down just inches or a handful of centimeters away, his face is from that between the air bar bottle. But Didi, what's the advantage here to have that? Now I'm going to have to erase it and start over, but right there, that bottle without a straw, do you see now that being, I know there's probably a million ways to look at this in the wind tunnel, but to you, just not having a straw and having to reach out and grab that, good, bad, what's the story there?
Well, I think if you don't have the straw and you're going to have to reach for that bottle, you're going to want to do it at a time like this where he's already sitting up. He's already made himself bigger to the wind, so to speak. So he's already creating aerodynamic drag by sitting up, standing up. Now would be a time he wants to grab that bottle where he's already creating disruption in the wind. When he's down in aero, I like the straw. I really do. I think that you can access it.
You're looking at Heather Jackson there on camera, and she just got overtaken by an age group athlete. Heather Jackson hitting that straw right when you captured her, and a few athletes rolling through cycling frenzy over there. A lot of folks love to ride the bike there, and they're riding it hard as they crank past Heather Jackson. Heather did just the right thing. She coasted briefly, stayed aero, but let those athletes get well clear of that 12 meters, and now she's in control of her destiny once again. But Heather Jackson, here's a great look at sort of a mid-grade cadence, because it looked like she was pushing a little bit slower, but right in that, range about 75? Kind of a nice spot, isn't it?
Yeah, 75, 80. Again, she looks nice and smooth. I like the stability in her hips. I like her aerodynamic position. You can see her there. She just sank her head down a little bit. Every once in a while, those reminders, I'm sitting here, how's my breathing, what's my power? Check your aerodynamics. You're sort of running through this cycle in your head all day long of tuck my head, keep my hands tight, slide back in the saddle. You've got these personal cues you're checking in with all day long. Heather looks, or a troop will give a nod to their village of people that enables them to make the sacrifices that it takes to prepare. And in Heather's case, to be one of the best in the world, it really takes a lot of support, a lot of balancing, a lot of juggling, and certainly none of these athletes could do it without their villages.
So we've got a special guest calling in, and I think you guys are going to recognize the voice, the silvery tongue of Paul Kay, one of our world-class on-the-ground announcers. Paul, what's it like out there? Thanks for joining us.
It's absolutely beautiful. I am, I don't know if it's an appropriate word, but almost speechless, and that's not often that I'm speechless. This place, you guys, this place is spectacular. It is so beautiful. My very first time in the beautiful Basque Country, northern Spain, Vitoria-Gasteiz. Wow, we have arrived, but my goodness, have they embraced us. This place is magical.
Well, so just give us your favorite, your top two. I'll just ask you for two, because you can't send them to one. The two greatest things that you've been able to experience just today getting these athletes started on this inaugural race.
Well, the thing is, it's an inaugural Ironman, but it's the 13th time that they're hosting a long-distance race here. There's a strong tradition of triathlon here. And Eneko, Llanos, I'm sure you've mentioned already, this is, home territory for him. Mikel Landa, who's doing great things in the Tour de France as well at the moment, this is home territory for him. The people here love sport. They're knowledgeable, they are passionate. And the amount of crowds that turned out this morning, on what's been a very chilly morning, we had rain overnight. It was 11 degrees Celsius this morning on the ground. The water was 21, but the people turned out in their thousands. The way they've embraced MDOT, the Ironman Ohana, they've welcomed our Ohana into their family in this beautiful, beautiful territory. That's extremely heartwarming and just gives you goosebumps all the time. So that's been spectacular. And then the setting. The setting is beyond beautiful. We kind of we're in a bit of a bowl, if you can call it that, surrounded by these beautiful green hills. And it was moody and cloudy and misty this morning. And just as the pros started, the sun broke through the cloud and was shining down on the Roca swim boys, the yellow sort of guider boys, and they kind of just lit up. And it was like everybody was saying, okay, hello, Ironman has arrived. And even Mother Nature was smiling down on us this morning.
Oh, man, your words tell beautiful pictures. Thanks so much, Paul. That sounds amazing. So a little bit of stuff that's going on here, and what do you think? We've got Josh Amberger. He's up front, and then he's being chased by that local hero, Eneko Llanos. How important is it for each of these two men today to assert themselves and get that W, get that win?
Extremely important, but more so for Josh than for Eneko. Eneko's already, he's ticked the box for the Big Island for Kailua Kona and the Ironman World Championship. But Eneko hardly ever raced here, even though this is home territory for him. And the only time he did race was 2012 when it was the ITU Long Distance World Championship, and he was beaten by an Australian. He was beaten by Chris McCormack. And so I can't help but think that there's a little bit of revenge he needs to take on Australia. And so it's an interesting and a fun battle between Eneko Llanos and Josh Amberger to see who's going to be the first on the magic carpet in the Plaza España in the heart of the green capital, Vitoria-Gasteiz. So it's a great battle, but Eneko's got the crowd behind him, and he is a hero here. That guy cannot walk anywhere. To walk 5 meters for Eneko takes about 3 hours and 21 minutes because it's autographs and selfies and more selfies and more autographs. But Josh Amberger is no stranger to this area either. He's been training here with the Aussie squad. He's been coming here for many years, and he knows where all the best bars are for the best craft beer as well.
What about the pinchos? Is he getting some handful of those too? Because that's another well-known item here in the Basque Country.
It is impossible to eat a bad meal.
That's it.
Absolutely impossible. The food is exceptional and such good value, and the hospitality is really... So, you know, I often get asked what are my favorite races, and one of them was last weekend, and you guys were commentating Ironman Klagenfurt. And another favorite for me is Ironman Kalmar in Sweden. And I've heard so many great things about Lake Placid, for example. And just been chatting to last night, I was sitting with Jeff Jonas and John Ragg and Luis Alvarez, you know, the trio that have done all the Ironmans around the world. And we kind of all agreed that this race unknowingly has taken what seems to be the best of the best races around the world, chucked it in the blender, added in some Rioja, a bit of pinch.